Good morning, everyone. I just had trouble getting into doing the broadcast. Anyway, I have worked it out, so I hope I remember for next time. Welcome to morning meditation. Let us all bow down, raise our Kundalini, put on abundant, and welcome Shri Mataji into our meditative space this morning. And let us settle down into meditation while I finish off doing a little puja to Shri Mataji. Let us start with doing some clearing this morning. First of all, let us sing one mantra to Shri Ganesha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Shri Ganesha, I am going to be worthy of your attention. Please make me innocent so that I am in your attention. Shri Mother, you who are Shri Ganesha, please give me wisdom and discrimination. Now we can put our attention on Sahasrara, and with our attention there, I'll put on a short talk that Shri Mataji gave in 1983 about training your chakras and your body.
But first of all, people do not understand that you have to work it through your heart and not through your brain. When we have to work out things through our brain, we try to develop our brain, isn't it? By memorizing, by practicing something, teaching our brain how to think, how to go this way, that way. We try to train our brain. Now we have to train our heart in Sahaja. And to train our heart in Sahaja, one has to know first of all that it is enveloped either by ego or by super. The limbic area actually represents the heart. And if there is ego, heart will always be so-called. It will not be the real heart that will be working, but it's only mental projection. And you will feel that I'm doing it from my heart. Now then, supposing what should we do if we have ego? You might say you should try to sort of tell yourself that that's not good and this and that and all kinds of mental suggestions or auto-suggestions or this, the way psychiatrists and all that give you suggestions. That's again mental. So that's not the way it is going to work out. We must understand that for that what we have to do is to raise the left side and put it to the right side. There's no other way out. You have to just work it out with your hands. Your hands are working it and not your brain. So use your hands and the methods of Sahaja. Now, everyone must have a regular sitting in the water every day. That's important. Every morning you must do your meditation. You have to know that Sahaja Yoga is to be worked out. It is not to be thought out. You just cannot think about it. Whatever you may try to do through your thought, you cannot achieve any results in Sahaja Yoga. You have to use your hands, you have to use your feet, you have to soak your feet in the water because water is the ocean. All these 5 chakras, or say 6 chakras, which are, I say 5 because the one is the Muladhara chakra, which is the 7th, and the topmost is the brain. So in between 5 chakras which are there are to be handled fully with the idea that they are basically made of matter. And these 5 elements constitute the body of these chakras. Now these chakras, if they are to be corrected, we have to correct them by taking out all the problems of these chakras into the elements from which they come. For example, a person who is a very right-sided person, so he has to give a balance by the left side. Of course, raising with the hand is alright, but what about the element? Right-sided person has all the elements which give heat. You can say the light, you can say the fire. So for people who are right-sided, the light is not going to help much. Like if you put the light before the photograph, and those who are ego-oriented people, if you just use the light, it's not going to work out. So what is going to work out is the Mother Earth and the water element, which is cooling. Even ice is very helpful to people who are right side. So all cooling effects should be used for correcting your right-sidedness so that you cool it down. Same about food. In food, those who are right-sided people should take to foods which are left-sided, that is carbohydrates. Means they should become partly vegetarians or quite a lot of vegetarians. And should eat things at the most like chicken, but not fishes, not seafoods, because they are all hot. That's how you treat your ethereal side of your chakras. Now the left-sided people should use again the deepa, means the light or the fire, to correct their left side. Also in food, such people should take more to nitrogenous, means protein, and foods like that. They should take more proteins. Now, as far as Sahaja is concerned, the basic thing is Kundalini. And the Kundalini, as I have told you, is the pure desire. Again, listen to it carefully, pure desire. That means all other desires are impure. There's only one pure desire, and that is to be one with the divine, one with the Brahma, one with God. That's the only pure desire. All other desires are impure. But first of all, our brain how.
After that short video, we can take from that our material side, we look after our chakras through our food, through the earth, through water and fire and light. And for our spiritual side, we need the Kundalini. So let us take one mantra to Shri Gauri Kundalini Mata. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Gauri Kundalini Mata Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. So you can raise the Kundalini from the Muladhara chakra up through to the Sahasrara chakra with your right and then with your left hand. And with your attention on Sahasrara, you can sing one mantra to Sri Shuddha Icha, the pure desire. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Shuddha Icha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. So this morning I thought we could listen to a talk by Shri Mataji given in 1990, actually the 16th of March, and this one is called The Powers of the Kundalini. It's an interview with Shri Mataji at Burwood Ashram. It goes for 20 minutes. I'll see how we go. We may not play it all, but I'll post it later so that you can listen to all of it. Sorry, I'm just having trouble finding it. Try again.
Shri Mataji, what is Sahaja Yoga?
Sahaja. Sa means with, Ja means born. So it is born with you the right to become united, which is the yoga, with the divine.
And this Sahaja Yoga is something that everybody can have, is it? It's something everybody can practice.
Of course.
And how does this connection with the divine take place?
We have within ourselves this power in the triangular bone, which is called as sacrum, meaning sacred, which when awakened sprouts like a plumule in a seed and rises through 6 subtle centers, opens out the last center and gets connected with the divine, which is a subtle energy all around us, which organizes us, which nourishes us, does all the living work. Above all, it loves us.
Does this mean, Shri Mataji, that people who have not had the ability to practice Sahaja Yoga are not connected with the divine?
Most of them are not. And if some of them are, they don't know all about it.
So this is an extra force that is available to human beings to develop themselves in this world.
Of course. This is the last breakthrough of our evolution, where you have to get connected with the divine, you have to feed it on your central nervous system, and that's how you get your self-realization.
Do I perceive here that this is a way of balancing oneself, of keeping in such a way, of living one's life in such a way that one is not unbalanced in one's view of what is going on around us?
Yes, we have 2 sides in our system of autonomous nervous system, left and right, which we call as left and right sympathetic nervous system. The left side caters for our emotions, for our past, our desires. The right side caters for our action, physical and mental. If you indulge into one too much and go too far with it, you develop an imbalance within yourself. In the center lies the third power, which we call as parasympathetic nervous system. This is the channel which is the central part of ascent. When the Kundalini rises through it, it brings you in the balance because it rises in the center of the system. So this is the meaning of that happens, that you develop your balance.
So how does one actually achieve this balance?
It just happens spontaneously.
In other words, there's no physical requirement on an individual.
Not at all. Not at all. It's an evolutionary step, as I told you. In our evolution, we have developed a balance. We can stand on our 2 legs. Animals cannot. In the same way, you develop this special balance between your emotions and your actions in a very proper way.
You speak as though this is some sort of evolutionary step.
Yes, it is. It is the last breakthrough, that you have to become the spirit now. And this has to be achieved, which can be achieved only through a living process, because we have become human beings through a living process. And that living process has to act within us.
This sounds as though it is rather a significant time then in the history of humanity.
Very much. In the history of humanity, in the history of evolution, in the history of spirituality is the most important time. Because here where you will get what heaven has been promised to you so far.
So it's no accident then that Sahaja Yoga has appeared in the world at this time?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's all predicted thousands of years back in India and later on by many saints. Even William Blake has predicted it.
Now, Shri Mataji, you went to Russia last year and I believe the reception you got was most surprising.
Yes. I was myself surprised because thousands of people came and very sensible, well-educated people came and they all settled down, thousands. I didn't know how to cope with that number because there were so many. And even the members of the Supreme Council, the government, they came in. That I could only say that in the so-called free societies, we waste too much time experimenting with our freedom and indulge too much into the politics, which is a wasting, I think, then economics, all these things. While the people there didn't have any such chances. So they put their energies to something that was higher than that. They diverted it. And they were very knowledgeable. They knew a lot about seeking. They knew a lot about Kundalini. And as if they were just waiting for me. It was very remarkable.
Mr. Gorbachev has said the Russians require a mental revolution. Do you see the acceptance of Sahaja Yoga as part of this revolution?
Of course. He himself is a saint, and what he is meaning by mental, that they should now understand that they have to develop that balance between communism and democracy. Our democracies are imbalanced. They are one-sided. They have not the other side of collectivity. But communism has collectivity. It is power-oriented. Our democracies are money-oriented. What he is meaning is the maturity of our wisdom.
So, referring back to what we were talking about earlier, is it... Okay. As we were talking about earlier, about bringing the human body into balance, could we say then that Mr. Gorbachev is bringing the whole Eastern Bloc into balance?
Yes. Yes, they had gone too much on one side, and he's trying to bring them in the center.
You mentioned that you went to an Eastern Bloc conference last year, and I believe you gave many influential people realization. Is it true that you believe that this was instrumental in helping the overthrow of oppressive communism?
It was a yoga seminar, and I expected all of them to be there. And surprisingly, I talked to them hardly for 30 to 35 minutes, and then I gave them realization, and all of them got it. They were representative from all these Eastern Bloc countries. When they got it, they were so surprised at it that they walked out with me, out of the hall, and nobody was left in the hall to listen to other people. They gave me their addresses, and they said, we want this only in our country, and they wanted to start centers, and I'm told they have already started centers. The all-pervading power requires a medium to trigger something. And when these people were created as realized souls, as they got connected with this all-pervading power, I think they triggered it. They had that confidence in it, that courage in them. Because once you are realized, you become very courageous and you want to establish truth at any cost.
Shri Mataji, the West, shall we call it the Western nations, have had Sahaja Yoga available to them to investigate, to see for themselves how it worked for 20 years. And yet it has been very slow to grow. Why has it happened this way, do you think?
Here people have so many diverse ideas about things. They are very self-opinionated also about things. And the so-called man-made religions all over have also conditioned them too much. They have other conditionings of different norms that they have as far as the social life is concerned, and the physical appearances, rather on a very superficial level. So the people have not grown, I think, so much deeper. Of course, I must say there are so many seekers in the West, so many seekers. And they were lost because as soon as people knew that there's a market for them, the false gurus jumped out and they started preaching about false things just to earn money. They were all money oriented. Now there's another psychology with the Western mind that you must buy everything. If something is not for sale, then it is useless. And this psychology has really deterred them to come to Sahaja Yoga very much. Because this is a living process and you cannot pay for it. And they couldn't bear it. I mean, actually, I must say one of the very important television gentlemen told me off that Anglo-Saxon brain cannot accept anything which cannot be sold. I didn't know what to tell him. I just said, who has made this brain? This God has made, and why is it so?
So you have an expectation, really, that this thing called Sahaja Yoga will change the world.
Of course. It changes human beings, and they manifest the change outside. And we create a new race. That's what they're talking about. If you go, they talk of new age, of a new race, but I don't know what is their imagination about it. They talk about all this in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the Kundalini. She's placed in the Aquarius. And they talk about Aquarius age, all kinds of things. They're talking, writing, thinking about it. But when it comes to actualization, I think they think I am very too simple for them, not complicated. And Sahaja Yoga is too simple. It should be very complicated. And all their own ideas about seeking, that they must suffer, they must go to Himalayas, they must starve themselves, and then only they can get realization.
Shri Mataji, is the evolution of the planet closely related to the evolution of humanity?
Of course, it is. Very much related. And the planet, our planet is moving in a spiral way. All the planets are moving in a spiral way. And they are creating all possible things for the use of human beings so that they can save time. Save time for getting their ascent and for meditative growth. But people don't understand that part.
There are theories around now that the suggestions, so we say, that the planet could be a living organism, a complete entity.
Of course it is. One of the examples of this one I can give you is that if you sleep under a coconut tree, a coconut never falls on anything that is living, whether it is a human being or a snake. It never falls.
That is so. All around the world, coconuts never fall on living creatures.
Yes. So, they understand. We call it as Shri Phala because we think that it is like a brain which understands.
Well, if this world is a living organism, what is the brain? What drives this being, this organism? What has made it evolve the way it has?
There is this subtle power which is all-pervading of God's love, which manifests all the things like living work, all nourishment, all balancing. It's so balanced. If the Pacific was slightly deeper than this, there would have been problems. If Himalaya was, say, 1.5 times than what it is, there would have been problems. So everything is so balanced in nature. And the Almighty has created only one world. Only we human beings have divided and move like criminals with our passports in our hands.
Shri Mataji, what we have been talking about, many people would regard as a belief or a theory. How does one know the difference between truth and a belief?
First of all, anything for which you have to pay money is not the truth. You can't pay for truth. If you cancel out that, I think 99.9% of the false will drop for. But truth, to be really actualized, you have to have self-realization. Then you feel on your fingertips vibratory awareness, a new dimension awareness, by which you can make out what is true and what is false. That's an absolute truth that you realize at that stage.
So one must have one's realization really to be able to tell the truth.
Even to follow anyone, one must have realization.
Shri Mataji, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now let us settle down into a quiet meditation. Now let us pray that the whole world knows about Sahaja Yoga. Let them feel what it is about, an actualization. Let us pray that self-realization is available for everyone. Let everyone feel the power of the Kundalini within and the love of our Holy Mother, Shri Mataji. Jai Shri Mataji.
Brahma Shri Mataji Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Shri Mataji Nirmalama Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva.
Jai Shri Mataji. Thank you for joining in meditation this morning. When you're ready, let us bow down to Shri Mataji, raise our Kundalini and put on a bandhan. Thank you all for joining in this morning. Have a great day. Jai Shri Mataji.